Okay, so today's lesson we're going to define the measures of center, which I think you already know. So this will just be a brief review. Then we're going to find measures of center. Again, this is something you did already yesterday, so we won't do a whole lot with this. The big thing that we're going to do today is number 3. We're going to be comparing data using measures of center. This is an important PSSA concept. There was, when you did your benchmark, there was a big question about comparing dot plots and box plots. By the time we get to the end of this unit, that question won't be quite so mysterious to you. Okay, so first we're going to just define what the terms mean, and we're going to go through this quickly because most of you were okay with this yesterday. So to find the mean, we take the sum of all the values. So we add all the numbers up, and then we divide by the number of values. So say we have 5 test scores. We're going to add up all of those test scores, and then we're going to divide by 5, and that's going to give us our mean. We use the mean most of the time. That's a really good measure of center as long as there's no outlier. So use if no outlier. Now there's another word that you may not be familiar with. Can anyone tell me what an outlier is? Does anyone know what that is, Matt?
If there's like a group of numbers and one is way off from that.
Okay, good. So if all the numbers are kind of grouped together and one is way off, like much higher or much lower, that's an outlier. I'm going to write that up here. Outlier is a value much higher or lower than the other values. So if the values are grouped together, it's like way up there. It doesn't really seem to be part of the group. Okay, median is just the middle value when they are listed in order. What do you do if there are 2 middles? What if you have an even number, so you have 2 middles? Sam?
Find the mean of the 2 numbers.
Good, you would find the mean of the 2 numbers. So let's list that here. If 2, find the mean of those. Now the median is useful. If there is an outlier, the mean or the median is not changed as much by an outlier as the mean. So if you have an outlier, you want to use the median. Okay, mode is just the value that occurs most often. We'll just write this really short. Occurs most often. And the range is what? Tell me what the range is. How would you define that? Rosa? Good. It's the difference between the lowest and highest or biggest and smallest. Difference between biggest and smallest. We use the mode when we want to know which one is most popular. The mode doesn't really, it's not really a measure of center in that it's not really telling us necessarily where the middle is. Sometimes the mode will, but often the mode is not quite as closely related as the others to where the center is. But we can use the mode, like say we're using non-numeric data. Say we want to find out what flavor ice cream most people like. So we have words instead of numbers, like chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, chocolate, vanilla, something like that. The mode would be the flavor that appears most often, so it doesn't have to be a number. And the range is just used when we want to find the range, when we want to know what is the difference, what is the variability, how much does the data vary, we're going to use the range. Okay, we're going to skip objective. This should actually say objective 2, not objective 3. We're going to skip this because you guys already did a worksheet on mean, median, mode, and range. So we're going to skip this. And we're going to go ahead to this comparison question data. Okay, how many people? Okay, what I want you to do now is take a look at the scores for class 1. In class 2, I want you to find the mean, median, mode, and range for every class. So pause this now and do that, and then we'll talk about how we'll compare them. Okay, volunteer to give me the data for class 1. So class 1, the mean is what? Gauge. Good. Mean is 84.3. How about the median? Maya?
This one. You know what I think you deserve?
What?
A big old group hug. Come on. Guys. Gabe.
Can you tell us what the median is?
Oh, I didn't do the meeting.
That was just a deflection, huh? Gauge.
Wait, what did you just go?
Median. Median, yep.
Okay, I got 84.
Good. How about the mode?
That was weird.
Mode? Who wants to tell me the mode? Carly? 84. And the range? Helen? What is it? 38. Good. Okay, second set of data. Does anyone have the whole set? Just give me the whole set. Rosa, go ahead.
It's 45.
Okay, let's see. Wait. No, it's not. It's not 45. Cheyenne. 81.4.
numbers. You should number them.
Okay, median,
83.
mode,
Would volunteers please
What?
report to the office?
None.
Elizabeth Baker, Colby Connor.
And the range?
Isaac, Matthew Stroud, Caleb Zillman.
Okay, this is the most important part about what we want to talk about. We want to talk about when it asks you to compare the classes. And you're going to have it's kind of like a take-home quiz that you're going to do tonight. It's worth more points than normal homework, where you're going to be asked to compare two sets of data. When you have to compare, you have to find all this stuff first. You have to find all of the measures of center and write them down so you have something to compare. So when you're comparing, what you do is you write out a paragraph and you use whole sentences to talk about the data. So who can tell me, what might you say about the means of these two classes? Just tell me a sentence. We're not even going to write it down right now. Tell me a sentence that compares class 1 to class 2. Go ahead, Tony. Okay, a serious sentence that compares them. Maylin.
They're both classes.
Go ahead, Maylin. Okay. Sam?
Class 1 got better, got higher numbers than class 2.
Okay. So Sam said class 1 got higher numbers than class 2. That's a really good start. You would say something in your sentence like, the mean of class 1 was higher than the mean of class 2. You can be that obvious. The mean of class 1 was higher than the mean of class 2. Then you might go on to talk about the median. Who can tell me just a basic sentence about the median? Just using the word higher or lower. Brooke?
The median in class 1 is higher than the median in class 2.
Good. The median of class 1 is higher than the median of class 2. It can be that simple. What does that tell you about class 1? If the mean and median are both higher for class 1, what conclusion can we draw about the test scores? Rosa?
They got higher.
Yeah. They're higher in both measures of center, so overall, class 1 had higher test scores than class 2. What about the mode? Does that really give us any information here? Tells us that the most popular test grade for class 1 is 84, but that doesn't really have a lot of relevance here, so I might not talk about the mode when I'm comparing this data. What about the range? What does the range actually tell us? Cheyenne?
The range for class 1 is lower than class 2, meaning that they were closer than
That was excellent. Did you guys hear what she said?
No.
She said the range for class 1 is lower than the range for class 2, showing that the scores were closer together for class 1. Range is a measure of variability, so it's telling us that class 1 has less variability than class 2. Their scores were closer together, not so far spread out. Tony, question? you understand, if you were to do an assignment of this about what you might do. You're gonna find all the measures of center, and then you're gonna write a sentence about each one of them, comparing them, and then draw some sort of conclusion. Okay, we're gonna look at one more example using a line plot. Line plots are similar to dot plots. Instead of X's, if I put dots, I'd have a dot plot. So this is the same thing. If we wanted to find the mean using a line plot, what do you think we would have to do? Remember, we have to add up all the values. Sam?
You would have to add one time, 2, 3 times.
Good.
6, 5 times.
Good. So each X, this X tells us that one person sold 0 boxes of cookies.
Shame on them.
This tells us that one person sold 1 box of cookies. These X's tell us that 3 people sold 2 boxes of cookies. So when we're finding the mean, we have to add 0 once, plus 1 once, plus we need to add 3 2's, so you can do that as 3 times 2. You see why I'm doing that? I have 3 2's, so 3 times 2. How many 3's do I have?
6 or 5.
5. So I can do 5 times 3. How many 4's do I have? 4 4's. So that's 4 times 4. How many 5's?
4.
And how many 6's? 2. Okay. So what we need to do, now, if you're using a scientific calculator, you can type this into your calculator exactly like this. Your calculator will do the order of operations for you. So you can do 0 plus 1 plus 3 times 2. And then get an answer. Now, I'm going to give you a second to find the mean. Okay, so when we add all of this up and we divide by the total number of boxes, which is 20, we get a mean of 3.5. Now, if there's 20 boxes total, the mean is going to be in between what 2 numbers? What's the middle number?
3.
No. If there's 20 and
10.
we go from 1 to 20, between 10 and 11, between 10 and 11. So we're going to count to get to the 10th and 11th value. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here's the 10th value. Here's the 11th value. So what would the median be? Cheyenne? What's that? Not 15.5. This means 3 boxes. This means 4 boxes. So it's going to be in between 3 and 4. So 3.5. Good. Median is 3.5. Okay, what about the mode? Can we see? We can see really easily what the mode is from this. What's the mode? 3. Good. What about the range? Range is 6. Good, because we have the most number of boxes is 6, the least is 0, so the range is 6. Okay, take a second and find the data for, actually, you know what, we're running out of time, so I want you to find the data for this.
Running out?
Your assignment is a worksheet, and it's going to count as a quiz. So it's going to be a take-home quiz. 5 points.
That's all it's worth?